Well, looks like everybody is here, so we'll start 1.5 minutes early tonight. So we'll call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda, or are there any additions to the agenda? Anybody have anything else? Okay, well, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Also move.
I'll second. Okay, move in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Okay, we are going to roll right into classified staff grievance, and we have a couple of guests. Tina McCoy, paraprofessional, thank you for coming. Rachel Berner is our school attorney on via audio video. Okay. How do we start? Do we need some background information, Mr. Bowitz?
I guess I was going to leave that up to Mrs. Bruner.
Okay.
Mrs. Bruner.
I can provide some background information. I think you guys have in front of you the grievance that was filed, and then Mr. Boutz's response. And just for full transparency, I did help him draft that, and I took a look at everything. I took a look at the grievance filed by the paraprofessional, and there was a similar one filed by the teacher. The teacher's grievance had to end with the superintendent under the grievance procedure in the negotiated agreement, but under your classified employee manual, the grievance of classified employees does end with the board. So that's what we're here today for. She's appealing to you all. The issue came from what both employees said, and apparently they weren't the only ones from Mr. Bout's investigation, but there were a few employees last year that were allowed to take additional cafeteria plan benefits besides health insurance that weren't supposed to. So I think in the information that you guys have, maybe it's easier if I share my screen, but I think you guys all have it. Do you have the language in the classified employee handbook? And it's also referenced in Mr. Bout's response to the grievance.
Yeah, well, we do have it. Give us a minute to pull it up.
Pages does anybody know?
It's under
The flexible benefit plan.
in the file tree. It was under supporting documents, and then there's a folder for
yeah, I'm on the deal already. I just didn't know what page.
Oh.
And I could share my screen. Maybe that would just be easier because I have it up anyways. I'll do that quick.
Okay.
If it'll let me.
We're looking at the handbook, right?
Oh, give me 1 second here. Well, maybe it won't let me.
This basically reads the same as the teacher one, correct?
It does. It's very similar. So I'll just read it to you guys so we're all on the same page. The language that's important for our purposes is that beginning July 1st, 2021, all returning, and returning is underlined, staff members from the 2021 school term will be deemed grandfathered. The maximum contribution of $8,200 may be used toward any item within the Section 125 benefit plan. The benefit list includes health insurance, flexible spending accounts, health savings account, dental insurance, vision insurance, or tax sheltered annuity. Any expense above the district contribution of $8,200 will be considered a pre-tax payroll deduction. Any benefit amount not used towards a Section 125 benefit plan will be paid as a cash benefit option, subject to FICA, and will be paid consistent with the annual salary election. Now, this is the paragraph that's important. Staff members beginning service after July 1st, 2021 may elect to use the maximum benefit contribution toward health insurance only. Staff members may elect to participate in other Section 125 benefit plan options at the employee's expense and will be considered a pre-tax payroll deduction. So that's what's at issue here. So you'll notice in the grievance, that was submitted by Ms. McCoy. She notes that, you know, she feels misled that last year she was allowed to use the flex plan towards dental and vision, and the district paid for it. And now that it's been caught, the district no longer is paying for it. And obviously I understand the frustration there. But as you know, Mr. Boutz's response says, no employee is authorized to give benefits that go different than the employee manual or different than the board has approved, and certainly not different than what's in the collaborative bargaining agreement for teachers. You can't give teachers a different benefit or go against language that's in the collaborative bargaining agreement for teachers. And my position has always been is if you have a benefit that's provided to teachers or restrict a benefit for teachers and you don't restrict that for your other classified staff, you're going to have issues. And I don't even know if that would be allowed under your cafeteria plan. So it's my opinion that you as a board don't have a whole lot of options tonight. It's my recommendation you do unfortunately deny the grievance. The only way to change it would be to negotiate with the RTEA and change the language in the collaborative bargaining agreement, and then in return change the language in your employee manual. So you could do that if the board so chose, but that was negotiated between the board and the RTA for a reason, I assume, as a cost savings feature for the board and for the district. And you're in a 2-year negotiated agreement, so you'd have to open up negotiations to change it before then. And that comes with, you know, the RTA would have to agree to that, first of all. And it comes with a whole host of other problems with negotiating, I suppose, when you already have an agreement. So unfortunately, it was a mistake that was made last year that a few employees were told they could use this benefit when actually they couldn't. I'm not recommending that you go back and try to seek that money from those employees that you incorrectly gave them, honestly. But instead, once you now are aware of it, you can't offer that benefit. It would affect, I think, 11 different employees that have been hired since then that didn't receive the benefit, or some did, the 3 that did last year, but the others didn't, and you have to treat them all fairly. So my recommendation is to deny the grievance and stick with the language in your manual. But I'd be happy to answer questions, or if you want to hear from Ms. McCoy herself, she absolutely has an opportunity to do that if she wants to.
I guess I've got a couple questions. On the timing, so this benefit is grandfathered in for some staff. What's the timing of that, and how did that come about?
So that's the language in there that's starting July 1st, 2021. So anyone that was hired before then was grandfathered in and can use that towards other benefits besides just health insurance. Anyone hired after July 1st, 2021, they can only use that benefit towards health insurance, and they can use the other benefits, but they'd be, out of their own pocket. And that came about during negotiations with the RTEA.
So wasn't part of that, didn't that have to do with raising base
Yeah, I think this is an important point that we need to fill everybody in on too, is that, and I don't remember who was on negotiations at the time, but it was negotiated out basically that you can't take the $8,200 cash option is what they did. They said, no, this is money for health insurance and that's what it should be used for. You can't just have it in cash as part of your salary. So that was negotiated in.
It was Ty and I.
Teacher negotiated agreement. Okay, so you can probably speak better to why.
It was,
Yeah,
Why that was done.
that was, in 2021.
However, those hired prior to 21 could still use that option.
What we were running into before was we weren't getting enough people to take our health savings, our health plan, and they were gonna drop us. Because you have to have a certain percentage
Okay.
to be on the healthcare.
Okay.
For whether it was Sanford or Blue Cross, they both kind of had that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having so many people that weren't taking it.
Okay.
We actually had people in the past that opted to not have insurance and take the $8,200.
Sure.
Which we were kind of getting into a bind where we actually were offering insurance to people and they weren't taking because they wanted the cash option.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we decided to. We offered it to when we were in collaborative bargaining there. That's one thing we offered, and everybody at that time that was representing the teachers had no problems with it. So
then did we do our diligence on, apparently not, by just the fact that we were paid on these folks that were hired after 21 to explain this, or how did we end up with that being paid?
our superintendent at the time.
Okay.
To my knowledge, it was just last year and it was just 3 people.
So there's an additional person other than the 2 that filed grievance?
Correct, and he didn't file a grievance.
Okay. And was receiving this in error as well?
Yes.
So it's only for the, what do you say? 22, 23 school year?
Yeah.
So the language in the manual says that teachers hired begin service for 21-22 school year and beyond may elect to use maximum benefit contribution towards health insurance only. The hard part that I have with that is that if I'm reading this and McCoy's mentions that, how do we know from that language, if this is all I got is the book and guidance from a superintendent that we don't know what was told, does that tell me that I have to use the Richardton-Taylor School provided? Or if I take this as a flexible benefit and buy some other insurance, almost fits in that language, which makes this difficult for an employee to know. I don't know if that's written poorly, but I struggle with that a little bit.
There's no,
So, I mean, it kind of leans towards that we want to get rid of the cash option, but yet it doesn't define that you have to use the money to participate in the district provided health program.
kind of does, because your cafeteria plans can only have specific benefits that are laid out in your plan documents. So the paragraph before that lists out what those benefits are: health insurance, flex spending, health savings, dental insurance. And then the paragraph that talks about those hired after July 1st, 2021 may elect to use the benefit contribution toward health insurance only. Well, there is only one health insurance benefit in your cafeteria plan, and that's the district's health insurance benefit. So to me, and obviously I'm a lawyer and look at words very technically and in a certain way, to me it's clear. Obviously, your employees should be notified of that when they're hired. And last year that wasn't done. And in fact, they got wrong information, some of them. if we could go back and change that, great. But then they wouldn't have received the benefit last year either. They did receive a benefit that they shouldn't have received last year. And I'm not recommending you go back and try to collect from them. But unfortunately, moving forward, you can't give them that benefit without changing the manual and without going back to the RTA and potentially trying to change the agreement, which then puts you in the same position you were, it sounds like, back before 2021, where you're not going to have enough participants in your health insurance plan.
Why would revisiting a certain portion require that the whole negotiation be reopened?
Wouldn't necessarily. You could request from the RTA to open just this portion. You could request that. They could say no. They could say we're only opening it if we're opening all of it, or maybe they would say yes. I don't know. But when you all negotiated this in 2021, I assume it was based on a package of, dollars. We have X amount of dollars to spend. If we increase the base, then we're going to remove some of this cash benefit option. So my assumption is that was, a collaborative discussion about finances in general. So if you open this up, a request that the RTA agree to open just this portion up, that's something you can do, but I think you as a board really have to decide if that's in the best interest of the district.
Would it fit that we're talking about roughly $16,000 is rather insignificant versus the entire budget, that concept that, we
It's
have
more
to
than-
Lot
more than
more
16.
than 16,000. It's 11 employees at $8,200 to $6,100 each.
Right, it wouldn't just be for these folks, it'd be for all.
Help me with clarification on this, because
Just these three got it.
just these three
But
got
if
it.
we
but
opened it up, the 11 that didn't get it and weren't receiving it by accident, you'd have to open it up to them as well.
there was 11 not receiving that are not, and tell me more on the grandfathering piece that I'm not following then.
So all the employees before 2021 had the option of taking $8,200.
I get that part. What I'm asking is, currently, those that are grandfathered, can they take the cash option?
Yes.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
still can. We didn't change that.
So if they have a spouse that gets health insurance, they can take the $8,200 versus enrolling in our health insurance.
So we had 11 employees that were given this wrongly last year?
No.
Three.
But there's 11 eligible,
You're gonna have to give it to all them too.
so you're gonna have to go to all 11.
But then why aren't they taking it now? Did they deny it?
They're hired after 2021.
Right, so they weren't told they could have it, just the three were told they could have it.
Okay.
But there's 11, so if you go back and say, we'll give it to these three, you'd have to offer it to all 11. So it's a lot more than $16,000. I mean, you have some.
Every new employee coming forward if you don't grandfather it.
I mean, it just, the numbers are, depend
82
on,
times 11, and that's your number.
but it's not quite 11, but, because you got some that are 6,150 and some that are 3,450. Regardless, it's still a significant number.
Okay, understood.
But to be clear on the 11 here too, nobody's arguing that be able to use this toward dental and vision. The interesting part to me is that it can be used for dental, vision, and a tax sheltered annuity.
Those that are grandfathered can.
Right.
Right, and just for the information for the board, if I use, say, half of it for dental and vision, and I've got $4,100 left, I can just simply dump that $4,100 into an annuity. Is that right?
Right.
Yes.
So.
Or you can take it in cash.
Right. Oh, okay, right. So it's all the same. Put it in an annuity, take it for cash,
Yeah.
whatever. Cash, you can take it for, you're gonna get taxed on it.
Yeah.
Annuity, it's gonna be a savings plan and you're not gonna get taxed on it.
Right.
Okay.
if you go back, one of the reasons that it was done that way is because it entices, it's a perk you can give somebody if they choose not to take it, so you can still offer them that. So when you're hiring,
Yeah.
you can still offer them the 8,200. Like with teachers, you can't just say, well, I'll give you 8,200 bucks. You can't do that just to one teacher, but you can do it to all of them that you hire. You know, so that's one of the reasons why it was there. It was there for a long time.
Yeah, and I think part of the discussion too, when you change that, was we're gonna use some of this extra money and help start increasing our base better, so we get our base up
Absolutely.
higher
We
to
increased
make
our
that
base
look more attractive.
substantially that year.
Right. Which helps all the teachers, but it doesn't help the ones you're hiring.
Right.
Yeah,
So obviously, like she said, we're gonna have to, turn down the grievance, but I think we need to have a discussion around what everything would look like, options we have, whether it's adding a dental and a vision into, or just have a dental and vision option versus having to take it all, or however we do it. I think we need to look into it and figure out what we can do to take care of them as well, because receiving it and then taking it away sucks.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
So I think that that's probably going to have to be a course of action, is
oh yeah,
find the grievance and then figure out what we can do somehow, some way to try to make it right.
Well, why are we moving to declining the grievance? We've put, so as this grievance here states, this is a tough spot because now we put somebody in a position that they apparently didn't accept employment. They could have accepted employment somewhere else, irregardless of the laws and the rules and how all that, we've done wrong. We screwed up. We should try to make it right.
Right, but you can't make an exception for 2 people and leave the other 9.
I get it, but we should try to problem solve a method
That's what I'm saying.
because we put a person in a position now where I believe at least the one grievance that I'm reading is that they went out and paid out of their pocket for health insurance, dental, and something here.
just dental, not health.
Vision and dental. That they're not getting out of misunderstanding of this.
Maybe before we get too far down that road, I would like to give Ms. McCoy a chance to speak too as well. Before and then we can continue with questions and discussions, but so Ms. McCoy, please have the floor.
And I completely, I understand exactly where you guys are all coming from, but the plain and simple of it for me is, I didn't sign up for benefits. They came to me, they set this up, they told me exactly how it was gonna work, the school was gonna pay for it, which made me drop it on my husband's insurance, which costs $40 a month. And now I'm paying $170 a month, which really is a substantial pay cut for me when you look at it. I'm working for almost $2 less an hour to pay for something that if I didn't know wasn't gonna be there, I would have never canceled it when I could have done it a lot cheaper. And I get it, what's good for the ones should be good for the many. But then you still, you look at the grandfather, that's still not many, or not, just because we started later than everybody else. And if that was the case, then when I didn't sign up for benefits, it should have been left alone. It should have been taken in there and have it all lined out. This is how we're gonna do it. And then I changed my financial situation to do that. And now I'm stuck paying 3 times what I would have done.
So it
That's my own
was
issue.
offered to you?
I was brought in there and it was signed out on a piece of paper, how we could do it. And it wasn't the superintendent, it was the business manager, because I hadn't signed up for any benefits. And the time was elapsing to do so. And I was taken in the office and signed up for it.
Sure.
And that was a huge difference in $40 a month versus $170-ish. And then, as basically a single mom, that's a lot to me. So, but I get your policy, I get it was in the handbook, and you can say, oh, it's in the handbook. But it was in the handbook when it was done. And that's my only issue. But I understand and respect your decision, but it's definitely something that we need to look at. So, that's really all I can say about it.
So Rachel, you said we could negotiate just that piece if they agreed to that. Just,
The teachers.
Correct. You'd have to request, the board would have to make an official request to the RTEA to open up a specific clause, that specific clause in the negotiated agreement and negotiate just that clause if you wanted to do that. First, the board would make that request and the RTEA would be up to them to say yes or no. If they said yes, you could. If they said no, we're only gonna open up negotiations if we open negotiations up on everything, then you'd have to decide whether you want to do that or not.
so we could deny that though.
You could try it,
I mean,
Yeah,
we
we
could
could
deny
say
that
it.
we're not gonna negotiate then at all.
right?
Right, because I guess.
Wait, what were you thinking when you said you could try it? What was on your mind there?
You could try to request if they agree to open negotiations on just that item.
So continue with that. Were you thinking that that's something that you don't see the teachers agreeing to, or what?
I honestly don't know. I have not been involved in your negotiations in Richardton-Taylor. I know other schools, the association and the board have a very conflicting relationship. And so I don't know that other unions or local associations would agree to that. I don't know if yours would or not.
Rachel, I think we have a very good relationship with our staff and I think,
Yeah, I think it would.
I think it would work.
And if it doesn't, then you've tried, I guess.
But the long and the short of it is we essentially have to decline the grievances. Am I understanding that correctly? Because we can't just say just these two people are getting it. But with declining it, we can go back and try to renegotiate, correct?
Correct. So the grievance would be resolved no matter what, and then you as a board can still try to open up negotiations if you want to on that item.
Is there,
One suggestion I would make is if you do that, I suggest before you do that, you guys talk to your accountant or your auditor about what options you would have with this cafeteria plan. I don't know if you could include like vision and dental and health only to new employees versus the entire benefit plan. So that's something you're going to have to ask your accountant or auditor, because that seems like probably a solution that everyone could stomach maybe. Offering the health, dental, and vision to the new employees, but not maybe the cash option and the whole thing. But you have to follow cafeteria plan rules under the IRS, and I'm not sure picking out those three benefits would allow you to do that. So before you make any decisions about whether or not you want to request that you open up negotiations with the RTEA, I do suggest you talk to your accountant to see what your options are. If all it is all or none, well, that's something you guys need to talk about probably in executive session to decide what you want to do.
is there a time frame when we could negotiate or do we have to wait till?
Well, if the RTEA and the board doesn't agree to open up negotiations, you wait until the agreement is done and you have a 2-year agreement. So you wouldn't have it for this year, you wouldn't have it for next year. It would be for the 25, 26 school year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But I think, were you asking, Dwayne, if the RTEA agrees to open it up, can we do that at any time? Could we do it next month if we wanted to?
Yes.
Great.
That there's no set time of year that you should be doing it.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, if you open it up, you open it up.
Okay,
All right.
got it.
If I'm understanding it right, though, we should be specific about opening up a certain clause.
Yes.
Correct.
So what clause
It's
would
more
we go
gonna be
after here?
it's gonna more be the 2021, 22, or 2021 higher in the agreement.
The
That's gonna be
grandfathering
date.
piece? So we would revisit the grandfathering piece?
No.
What was after?
Yes, just the date. I don't think we really have to do the actual grandfathering piece itself. I think we need to look at the date in which
And
grandfathering takes place.
What?
I would just caution you guys too, you're probably entering into some negotiation strategy where you might want to have these conversations in executive session. to decide what you want to request the
That's good.
RTPA do. So maybe you want to just wait for that for another meeting,
All right,
even if you have a great relationship.
all right.
Just one more clarification. I know we're following the RTEA with our classified staff. And you said, yes, that's a good idea, and we should do it that way, or we should keep them the same. But legally, could we change classified staff ahead of negotiating the RTEA? I know it might be a bad idea, but.
That is a great question, and it's a question for your auditor, because again, then you have to talk about discrimination aspects under the cafeteria plan, where you're taking a group of employees and excluding them from a benefit. So
I get
that
it.
you'd have to make sure that passes IRS muster, and that's not my call. That would be your accountant's call.
Are they already doing that with the grandfather thing, taking one group and putting it above the other?
It's a whole group
Did you
though of
get-
all different kinds of positions. It's just based on hiring date. If you're specifying like teachers only don't get this benefit, but everybody else is, that's a classification of a position, which is different than a classification of a hire date.
So we said discuss this in an executive session on another date. When would that be? Or
We can do that whenever it could be.
We can set a date for that, but we have to have an
So we need to
agenda.
gather information from our auditors and find out what the
Yeah.
options
Yeah,
are.
there's a lot
what
more
we can
digging
do.
that needs to be done before we set that.
Yeah, and then after that, then we can decide when we're gonna go into.
Okay. Yeah,
Would be
I-
my suggestion.
Okay.
Well, then I make a move that we explore what it looks like to open and a section of the, I guess, really, I just move that we set an executive session date then. I've got a lot of questions that apparently better wait to ask in executive session, so.
I think what you need to do tonight is either deny the grievance or, approve it. And my recommendation is to deny it. And then if you want to figure out the benefits later, you can do that.
What's the
hold that
purpose of denying the grievance?
You're required to make a decision. And the decision you really have tonight is either deny or approve. And in my opinion, you legally can't approve it.
Okay, so let's start there. So hang on to that motion idea for
Right.
looking at further options in executive session. So then it comes back to, do we have a motion on which way to go with the grievance?
I'm just curious though, before we go there, what would a motion to approve actually do? If
You
say
would be
approve this
granting
grievance,
her the
what-
benefits. That's what she's requesting. She wants the district to pay her benefits. That's not allowed under the manual.
So what are the ramifications of that, Rachel?
If you did that, you would have to open that up to all classified employees at a minimum. And then you're running into the risk of violating the collaborative bargaining agreement, because I'm not so positive you can open it up to that group without opening it up to everyone in order to follow IRS rules. So it's unfortunately not just a quick fix for this employee. It's a snowball effect to every employee and IRS complications. So I do not recommend that, unfortunately.
Okay.
I guess the other option, which I didn't really talk about, is you could table your decision on the grievance until after the board decides what to do with the benefit plan at a later date.
But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't, because if,
It's either gonna get fixed or it isn't, whether it's through the grievance, it's through the process of renegotiation or whatever it is.
Right.
So
I
at the end of,
absolutely agree with you.
Well, it doesn't in content, but it does in intent. Because at least by tabling, we're saying, hey, we're further considering that in the minutes and.
We can
Right.
do that by just pursuing where we're gonna check with our accountant and see what we can do and
making that
then we're
motion to
gonna
do so.
go open negotiations. I think that would be fair.
I think so.
Because really, the long and the short of it is there's no way for us just to approve the grievance.
Right.
So there's no sense in tabling.
Right.
Now, we do need to make further discussion and make sure that we
Yeah.
try to look into it to how to fix it, but we can't approve the grievance,
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
from what I'm understanding.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Motion to deny grievance. Okay, second by Shannon. Okay, any more discussion?
As long as we're all on the same
Yep.
page of,
We're gonna look into it, right?
Yeah, I would like to fix this too.
Yeah.
But any more discussion, questions for Ms. Brunner before we vote? Okay, more discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of the motion to deny a grievance, say aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed, same
suggest you
sign.
do a roll call. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, all right.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll proceed with the roll call vote. We start with Mr. Schutt.
Aye.
Mr. Paulson.
Aye.
Mr. Zant.
Aye.
Mr. Getz.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Jody votes aye. Okay, motion carries.
All right, you guys let me know if you need anything else from me in the meantime or help with that negotiation process or anything, but
So real
I'll
quick,
do nothing until you're.
Our next step is to reach out to our auditor to figure out logistics on getting all of that done.
On what can be allowed.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Brunner. Okay, well,
Thanks.
well, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yes.
It's gonna get some attention now, so.
Well, thank you guys. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
So. Okay, should we just finish then, since we are on the subject yet, of what our next step should be?
Sure.
You know, do we want to say, I don't even know how to,
I would imagine Amber, we'll have to have Amber work with our accountant and see what we can and cannot do as far as what we can offer and what we can.
okay,
And if we're also gonna have to know if we can go back to the beginning of this year so that these people are taken care of. You know?
I think first of all, you have to, our accountant's very important.
Yeah.
We have to figure out if we can even.
She kept saying IRS.
It's
Well,
what
the
I said, Amber
auditor-
needs to check with
Right.
our
Is the auditor the accountant? Is that the same person or?
But you're gonna get yourself in trouble with IRS. If you know, that,
if you break apart this cafeteria plan, I think,
Correct.
it is.
Yeah.
I think we want to explore our options
Right.
on
What we can do.
what we can and can't offer.
Right, exactly.
right,
You know, so is that something we need to put into a motion and say, I mean, it's a weird motion, but a motion to look into this and then
Well,
pursue it
I don't
further?
know if we put this on Amber, if we just ask the auditor. Isn't it the auditor that she asked?
Yeah, Amber's the one that would have to do that.
Yeah.
Business administrator would have to be the one to go.
But why don't we just get her to come to the meeting, or whoever this person is to come to the meeting, they can ask these questions?
Well, because I would imagine it's gonna take some searching on, and then they can run to the meeting.
But then, yeah, then it
We could
becomes
have them on the
executive
phone and
session.
asking questions. then.
Yeah.
That would be a great idea.
I'd much rather be able to.
Yeah.
Spitball and understand some questions, see if we can find a solution that fits without.
Because they'll figure it out, and then they'll give us recommendations.
Right.
yeah.
And then they'll check all the, boxes that need to be checked, so we know where. But we need to know if we go back and take care of these people, we can back.
So when did they stop receiving the benefit?
Just this start of the school year.
Okay. So, what is it, August
Well,
or July?
the new election benefit period starts September.
Okay.
Well, it starts October, but they start getting their deductions taken out in September.
Right. Again, do we want this in the form of a motion, just a,
I don't know how you really do that though.
yeah, motion to
Well, we got just set a meeting.
check into it?
Well, I think we're just checking.
Yeah, I think-
She's-
Okay.
Yeah, I think she looks into it and then
We give her a
And then
direction.
it's-
set a meeting
yeah,
after
okay.
that.
I'm good with that if you guys are.
Yeah.
If you guys are okay with that, let's do it that way. Okay. Anything else on this subject before we move on? Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, let's get back into consent agenda. Minutes from our regular meeting on September 13th. And where did that go? Do you have any additions or corrections to those minutes? It's one set of minutes, but it's actually the two meetings, the public tax hearing and then the regular meeting. Okay, seeing none, let's move on to October board bills. Should be a spreadsheet. Is there any highlights in here, Amber?
Probably the main one would be the McGraw-Hill. So our subscription was up. We get like I think we were on like maybe was it a 6-year plan for McGraw-Hill for reading?
Yeah.
And then that was expired, so we did have to buy a 1-year reading license, and that's what it cost for 1 year.
So,
Is that's not textbooks, that's online? Or
I do believe that's the online
codes and things like that, yeah.
the teachers access and everything. Yep. But that's one thing that I have recommended to Dr. Vogel and Mr. Patterson is that we take a look at our curriculum and get a hold of these subscriptions, what we're actually getting. Do we need to get, but maybe can we get part of it? You know, I don't know, but because it's adding up really fast. So maybe it's time, I don't know, can you do away with textbooks at the older age? You know, and
Because-
save some money?
Right, because this gives us textbooks too, right? Or not? Are we,
That doesn't.
No.
That number
Is that through grade 8 or
Textbooks, I have
6?
to order some. The textbooks aren't like workbooks, they're hardcover year after year. So like every class has a set of, I wanna say like, maybe it's like 30 something. Probably 32, I think we're using almost all of them this year. So-
Is there consumables in every
No.
year in that too, or is this
No,
just?
those are online, so we would go online to print those. If we want like my vocabulary tests, I print those.
But I do order some.
Oh, yeah, there's like the close reading companion that, like first grade users, yeah.
But we're gonna get a committee together and take a look at the curriculum and,
sure.
you know, where we're at with subscriptions and where we need to go.
And it's
you have an
through eighth
idea
grade?
years coming down.
It's through eighth grade? That we use
Sixth
it?
grade.
Sixth grade? Sixth grade.
But then with the new science curriculum, there's kits for everybody. So that means there's gonna be an annual subscription fee for that. So, and maybe there's some that you're not using, so then, you know.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. It's something you're gonna have to take a look at.
Well, that's a good idea, because you're right, that stuff adds up fast, and all of a sudden you got subscriptions out here that you forgot about,
Right.
you're paying for it, but nobody's actually using them or something.
So,
Okay,
And then the only question I had was was computers, TRE and staff computers. Is that basically replacing damaged, old type computers? I think we talked about it last meeting, if I remember right. I just wanted to make sure. Was VIG Solutions.
what was that for?
it's 71,477 VIG Solutions. I think we're on a,
That's our ESSER 2, right?
Yeah, that's the one that we were talking about last meeting.
Yep, that's
Okay.
upgrading all staff board. Dwayne needs a new computer, so we'll get that.
Okay.
Yes, that's what that's for. Was the other one in there too? 55. No. That's the other, yeah. Where did you see the 71,000?
oh, it was the two computer lines
Okay,
added up.
yep. Okay, now I see. So the 45,000 was the ESSER 2 funds. And then within that ESSER 2 funds, we had several iPads that people were requesting. Well, once you get to a certain number of iPads, then you have to buy licenses to maintain those and whatever. And it's a lot easier just to stay on one platform. It's okay to have, you know, a few iPads around, that's fine. So what we decided to do then is, and we're gonna use ESSER 3 money for this, is Mrs. Ravenius and Mrs. Scaly now have Surface Goes.
Surface Pros?
I don't think they're the pros, they're the goes, but.
Goes, oh, there's a difference.
But it's a touch screen and it flips over. Have you got
I've
them
only
yet?
seen them.
Okay.
My first
So-
question was, do we get cases like that?
That's all we're waiting on.
So then, because they were requesting some additional iPads, and we thought, let's go 1-to-1. Then we're K through 12, we're all 1-to-1 and on the same platform. So that was the plan for that.
All right. Any other questions on October bills, clarifications? If not, let's see, we've got one policy.
Yes, this is for Title I monitoring, you need to reaffirm.
Let's see.
And this is basically the same thing we're already doing. We're just
Yeah,
saying we're gonna continue to do it, essentially.
so the federal government wants you to look at it and remind you of it
Right.
every 3 to 5 years, so.
Does this require a first and second reading?
No.
Or is it
we
just
do
a
one?
shot reaffirm and
Yep,
we haven't
we're
changed
good.
it?
And it's for English learners, so. And you can see, well, last time it was adopted was in 2016, and you're supposed to at the minimum, every 5 years, look at it again. And of course, that's one of the things they look for in their monitoring.
So this would, we need a motion, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to reaffirm policy GABAA, English learners.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on, or questions on this? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. For policy, financial reports, balance sheet. I did have one question or maybe an idea to explore on our Dakota Community Investment Account, which is, I mean, essentially our large savings account is the, right now that's a $1.2 million balance. Is that right, Amber?
Yeah.
Can we, are we allowed to put some of that money into a CD that would earn 5% interest instead of whatever it's earning now?
I would think so, I guess I would have to.
I mean, the risk is, okay, we're gonna tie it up for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or whatever you pick, but, you know, I guess first question for you, Amber, would be, is there an amount there that you would say, yeah, if I didn't have access to 500,000 of that for 6 months, we'd be fine, you know, but I
And if
wouldn't.
it came down to it, you could borrow against a CD too, if you had to have it.
That's true. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. But I mean, it's just, there's an opportunity there with what cash in the bank. I mean, it's, yeah, so.
I say we get another stock market, just let
Auditor.
it.
We're recorded here.
Things are going better for you than me, man, because
So, but I don't know. I mean, if it's,
I think it's a good idea.
if it's allowed, if it's okay, I would say at
That'd
least.
be a question for the auditor.
Is that another question for the auditor? Okay. And we can, and if you find out that this is all good to go, we can do it next meeting, you know, for sure. But I mean, it's 6 months, you make a pile of money.
Right.
Yeah, pay some benefits. So, okay. Other than that, it looks like we're fine on balance. Any other questions? Okay, we can look at revenue report would be the next one. Which I'm sure district taxes are not in yet, or will not be for a while.
The old oil and gas just keeps chugging along.
Yep, chugging along.
And our per pupil aid from the state looks like is a good chunk of it is in. Oh, excuse me, just 40%. I had that backwards.
Well, that's Schnell Ranch out here.
oh, I thought we were renting the, grazing the playground this year. It's so good.
They're offsetting the
For
property,
$15.
they're offsetting the property tax they don't pay.
It's the weirdest name. But any other questions on revenue? No. Then we have the expenditures.
Do we do anything along the workforce safety that gets us that discount? They'll come in and teach you how to use the scissors right, and you get a discount.
Get a discount.
Yeah, I don't know if we wanted to look into it.
Is our work, I don't even know how much our workforce safety premiums are.
It's significant. I mean, 5,000 a month, right? So what do you?
Is it $5,000 a month?
Not bad.
No, that's a yearly fee.
Oh, that's a yearly fee is all, Chris?
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Well, never mind. It's pretty cheap to begin with.
Schools are pretty safe
I
place
thought that
to work.
looked like a monthly.
We do get grants once in a while, like, that's how we got that scissor lift.
Oh, okay. On the
Oh,
workforce.
through workforce
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are.
there you go.
Because we didn't like Marv swinging from the ladder.
Not a bad idea.
Falling off the ladder, breaking those.
More expensive.
An oil patch?
Hard to believe.
Okay, makes sense.
Right. The last one will be student activity fund report. Be our last one. Is there no questions on expenditures? All right, any further questions or comments, concerns on any other reports?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Okay.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Multiple questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, moving right along. Activity Director's Report. Is Ms. Mason here?
No, but it's attached.
Oh, it's attached.
Um,
All right.
Elementary girls basketball, junior high volleyball, junior high and JV football seasons are complete. Elementary boys basketball began on September 28th. Logan Miller and Johnny Olson are coaching. 26 boys in grades 4 through 6 are participating. Football region meeting in Bismarck, October 17th. Volleyball Region C meeting in Dickinson on November 1st. And the volleyball 3-class system is not going to start until 2025. And junior high girls basketball begins on October 31st. And one more thing, the stats board is up
I saw that.
in operation.
Yeah, I saw it was up the last volleyball game. It wasn't, they didn't have to know if they had it wired yet, but it was, I saw them
No,
up.
they didn't send us the little hub connector that talks to the scoreboard or to your control panel.
Sure.
So we got that.
I think it looks good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Cool.
Did BJ put them up? Or did they?
No, we had Denny's do that.
Denny's?
Yeah. That's the AD's report.
Very good. We have coaches for all, looks like. All right, principal reports. Mr. Patterson. Sure.
Pass this up. It's just some data that we'll talk about, but so you guys have a visual. This is for last school year. Oops, sorry. But before that, sorry. I know, I made a lot, I didn't know how many we did.
Yeah. One more?
Yep. Perfect. So just because it happened this week, just a quick roster update. We had an additional fourth grader enrolled this week, so that brings Lindsay's class to 24. And then before, kind of as we were all getting here, I shared with Jody and Brent, we're having a plumbing issue in the kitchen with the floor drain. So we're gonna look at some resources. I had a guy come out today and left with the only solution of pour some bleach down it. So
Wait, he was called unplugged.
yes, the
And he
unplugged
didn't
guy
unplug it.
left it plugged. So if you guys have resources for that, let me know. I know.
Need a good rotor rooter or somebody.
Yeah, something like a little bit more thorough job and
Yeah.
see if we can get that fixed. New basketball rims are up, so that was a really nice addition to the gym. And a good update for the rims as well. But looking at the data here, left side, that participation rate, that's just the number of our students in third and fourth for the MDSA. This is taken from the Insights website. That took the ELA in math. Not quite sure why it goes up to 101%, but it does. But you can see that most of our kiddos took it. When you look at the student achievement there, you can see the state averages and then our school, Taylor Richardton, what our scores were and how we aligned. So you can see at ELA, we were slightly below right at the state average for the ELA scores. And then on the math scores, you can see that there was a nice jump of being above the state average, which is nice. And then going off of that, for those who didn't know, based on the achievement scores of the school, Taylor was one of the 3 schools in North Dakota to be a Blue Ribbon Award winner, which is pretty cool.
Is that how that came about, or?
Yeah, it's based on student achievement scores and disclosing some achievement gaps in students. So something cool to celebrate for our teachers and staff. And,
Yeah, well, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
So did we celebrate that, or what did we?
It's in the works. Misty, I've been slacking, but Misty has brought it up to me, and we want to do something to celebrate. So celebrate that achievement, because it's a reflection of the hard work of the students and the teachers, and just a cool way to put that out there. So,
Do we know on that? I just got a few questions.
Yeah.
Do we know who did the narrative on that and the work on it?
I will make a long story short.
Yeah.
Mr. Berry started it.
Okay.
Was given some redirection by the state, did not finish it.
Okay.
Bounced to Mr. Peters, and I believe Misty did some work on it as well. They continued it, and then and that brings us to, I want to say it was August, because I was at a training here at the school. They reached out to me to finish it.
Okay.
Just being the new principal, ran into a login information, and only Mr. Barry at the time we thought had the login information. We couldn't track down the login information. So let's fast forward to September. I was able to call Mr. Barry on the phone, and he was willing to finish it for us. So kind of a lot of hands in it, but he was able to get finished. That was the important part. So I know Mr. Peters, and like I said, I believe Misty played a role in that too, of just gathering the needed information and updating the information that was not completed by Mr. Barry. But it's finished, and all that work paid off, because it was a great opportunity to show off our school, and put Taylor on the map in a sense, for the elementary. And
So when did this actually start? When did this process actually start?
Misty, do you know
Anybody have
when
any-
that application window
It was
started?
supposed to, it was supposed to start in the fall. In March, Mr. Berry came to me and he had opened an account. And he had noticed that the innovation teams and the professional development, the way we were going with our initiatives, meaning school improvement, that there's some good things happening. So he asked me to help him with that. He wasn't able to answer any of the school review or the curriculum at that time. So I wrote the school review and all the curriculum. I had the demographics done for the whole school, because we didn't know it had to be for one school. So we had everything based on standard-based alignment and grading, student engagement, and personalized learning. So all the professional development that you've been sending the district to the last 3 years, that's what the application was based on when I wrote it. Then they came back and said that we have to choose one school out of our district. it was a no-brainer. I told Mr. Barry that Taylor's been doing the standard alignment and grading longer. So we should put in the Taylor School first. At that time, since I had it all aligned for K through 12, he had to change a couple of the demographics. So I think that's where Mrs. Damas came in, because we took my name off the application. And I said, you'll have to go back and switch all the demographics I had put in with the numbers for all the teachers, the students, and different things like that. So I think Mrs. Damas completed that section. So this was a really group effort. After I was taken off the application, I did see, because I get a final application, I did see Mr. Berry did add a couple things regarding curriculum and some celebrations at the school for student achievement. Then Dr. Peters and I received an email from the federal program asking us to take our name off. And we didn't know why, because neither of us had access to the account. Mr. Berry was getting emails, and I think he was just in the middle of multiple things, but they said, please take your name off of the program because it's not looking good that you're not completing what was asked of you. I had no idea what was asked of him to complete, and I didn't have access to that. At that time, Dr. Peters contacted the federal program and asked what needed to be completed. And they gave Dr. Peters access because Mr. Berry was moving on. And I the final report that I got, Dr. Peters actually went in and put in all the standards information. It's actually quite impressive because all the overview that I wrote, he went in and added all the breakouts for your math, your ELA, and your science, and every other program in there. So then, of course, Dr. Peters was left out because he moved on. Mr. Patterson put on pictures. I mean, this is and congratulations to the teachers and staff because they did all the work following the initiatives for school improvement and getting the achievements. So kudos to you. And I think it's fantastic that our innovative teams have planned development based on what the teachers have specified when we have those discussions and what we need for the student engagement and achievement. So it comes down to the teachers carrying that out, and that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
I mean, it was.
Thank you, Misty. Yeah, that filled in a lot of the story, but before I got the first email, so
right.
there's a more clear path to the
Now it's a
direction
short
that
story
took. Yeah, I gave the very short.
I'll tell you what, if you haven't read the report, it's solid. I mean, it speaks a lot to the good work going on with teachers over there. So is anybody going to attend the Washington, D.C. invite? Do we take advantage of that, or?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Just curious.
I actually suggested that you'd have to send the whole innovation team and all the teachers doing the work.
Yeah, I know, that's tough. I mean, they invite two.
So I guess get your checkbooks out because everyone's doing it. And it's a true team effort. It's been very good. Yes, we get along. Yes, we fight. Yes, we work through these initiatives. We figure out what works for kids. It's important that it just goes in the direction it is. So I guess you'd have to ask all the teachers.
Well, if I read right, I don't know, it's been a little while since I looked into this. Did it come out? I thought it said somewhere that they invite two, and now I know how much they pay or what they do. I'm not sure. So they don't.
No, it's all
They invite two, and it's paid by the district.
Okay.
We did get some information today regarding some signage, and I did not look into if it costs or not. I know Mr. Bouts and Dwayne got it also because Dwayne was the superintendent, or not superintendent, sorry, school board president at the time. So he was also on the application and had to sign off on it. And so I guess, great, if you want to send all the teachers to Washington, I'm in. But if you don't want to do that, I would suggest if it costs some money to buy a sign and put it somewhere in the school or in the gym. I do know there's a flag that they got, but I think if we can put a little signage on, that would be very nice.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, and I sent that email. I just got that email today, and it's actually pretty cool. It's like the seal for the president, you know, and then it has, you put your school name on it, and then blue ribbon school, and then you put your year on it.
No,
There's different options that you could do, so they could look at that.
I think we should do that.
Yeah. And then, so that was just finished up with the student achievement leading into that blue ribbon. And then at the bottom.
Little sidetrack.
No, it's
We're
okay.
back.
It was a good
We're back.
sidetrack. It was a good sidetrack.
Sidetrack like that anyway.
So as you look at the student engagement, I wanted to define kind of what those categories were. As you're looking at the bottom graph again, you can see the participation. That's the percentage of students, you know, that took the student engagement. But the committed is, these are just the definitions of those categories. The committed are the students are attentive to the task because they find personal meaning and value in the task. The compliant, and you can see there, it's a big chunk of the students right now that took the engagement survey. Compliant is the students are willing to complete the task because of their desire to follow directions or rules. And then you have our disengaged category, which is the students are non-compliant and chose not to be involved in the learning at hand. So it kind of just paints a little bit more clear picture of what those answers mean for the kiddos. So, you know, even looking at this, you know, obviously you want a bigger number in the committed. That could be a goal, and that can just be based on decisions that we make and ways to, as we think about ways to grow in that area. So
How is that data in that pie chart gathered?
That's through a student engagement survey that the students actually
It's
take.
just a direct survey? Is it a bulleted type survey, or is there, can we see that more granular data on that?
I'm not sure do you guys have access to, it's a Cognia survey.
Is that Cognia?
Or that's with the,
No,
no.
but this is on Insights, right?
But
But he's asking for more detailed
for the, like,
information.
for what the survey is,
For results of the survey?
like what the survey, like the questions on the survey.
Yeah, I guess just so I can look at some.
I can answer that question for Mr. Paulson if you have a minute.
Yep.
So, well, I should probably put this on so you can see me. But anyways, we have leadership teams that do all the surveys for us. So teachers are on all different teams. And so a survey team actually decides what survey, when to do the survey. So Mr. Paulson, we just had one at our student conferences right now, and we had it in the library. So our survey team decides how to do that, and then they write up all the results based on it. And so last year's information was presented to the board last year. And so as these ones get written up by those teams, they come and they present them to you.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and then they're also in the Title I report at the end of the year.
Yeah, fair enough. So this was the time frame of last spring, or when this
Throughout
survey-
last year.
Yeah, throughout last year.
Okay,
Yep.
throughout last year, I see. So is that in the Title I report from last year?
Should be.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
And then as far as that, I just wanted to share that data and just keep you up to date on like our celebration of students and things. We finished Respect for September, so our word of the month for October is perseverance. So modeling what to do when things get challenging, when things get hard, emphasizing don't give up, keep trying. And for those kiddos to realize the success they'll find through trial and error, and mistakes are just learning opportunities. And so that'll be our focus of the month for October.
All right.
And I'm done. That's all I got.
That's what you got.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Very informative. All right. Dr. Vogel, your turn.
I just have a couple of things. I'm going to try to share my screens here. First of all, my data, I should have printed it out for you. It is in the newsletter online. We have the same data, just it breaks out by schools. So feel free to look at that. And if you have any questions, let me know what it is off the last year's data, and it matches our Title I. With some of our fall reports. This is a report that the state puts out regarding fall enrollment, which is pulled on September 11th. So if I go to the end here, that's the numbers that pulled over from our system. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
It's like an orange bar and it shows all the numbers that pulled out of our system when they pull on September 11th. So the top one's the 5 through 12, the bottom one is the 121. And then trying to stop sharing for you, hold on. For some reason it's stuck.
We can still see it.
Well, it's stuck. I'm trying to share a different one with you. Okay, so then they take that information and they put it into a spreadsheet. This is what the spreadsheet looks like with all the amounts of kids from each school in each grade. I am going to downsize it so that, can you see the schools there?
Yeah.
Okay, so they organize it by county, and then at it shows the total of this year in P, and then in R it shows the total last year, and then in S it shows the percentage, whether it went up or whether it went down or stayed the same. So if we go to R's, I think I passed it right here. I'll put it at the top. So can you guys see that? So last year's total for our district when they pulled at that time was 297. This year's is at 312 at that time, which shows the state a 5% increase. Like Mrs. Damas said, we've each gained or lost a few, but I mean, it's very, very close. So just so you know that that's out there, and then you can look at other schools to see in their districts how they're doing. So, but it does show that we have a 5% increase at this time. So, any questions about that? Okay. Lucas Weber and Mrs. Tuttle are again senior advisors. They brought me a senior trip schedule because they're trying to get Suns game tickets for April. The game is on April 14th. So far, they have a good amount of money. I think after their fundraiser, they're sitting close at 10,000. Our past rule has been that they could miss 2 to 3 days of school. They can line it up on a weekend if they'd like to make it longer. So they're looking at April 11th, 12th leave days, and coming back possibly the 16th. And you know, to use school days, it'd be the 12th through the 16th, but I will talk, as of right now, they're talking with Ralph Weisenberger to drive again. And I will talk with him if he wants to go up the night before. They do right now. They're sitting good enough to go up the night before halfways, so they could stay in Fargo on Thursday. They said that if, you know, instead of doing a straight shot, if they stayed in Fargo, that they would possibly like to leave 8th hour, which is pushing me past that 3 days. However, we know what April weather can be like. So if Rel says he wants to leave early, we'll let him go to the 8th hour because I have 4 people in class and the rest of them are in study halls. So, but funding wise, if for some reason they want to make them out, the kids and the advisors have the understanding that they would either have to go later or they'd have to come home earlier or drop out some things out of their agenda to make sure we're meeting that budget. When I first came back as principal, we were always going over that, and it was always getting probably multiple thousands over. So I'm very, very strict. I know that the classes end up with more money, and now we're in the conflict of waiting for the auditor to tell me if they can donate outside the school or if it has to stay inside the school, because I have contacted class treasurers and they've been in contact with their classes regarding some of their options of what they would like to do and what they would like to donate in this school, or if they'd like to donate to like a family for a medical thing or something else. So waiting for an answer from the auditor, but then we'll take care of that. But otherwise, they will only go according to what budget they have. So they're looking for an okay from the board to move forward, knowing that they have to meet budget just so they can book those Suns game tickets.
Oh, okay. Does that have to be in a motion, or have we just given the nod in the past?
It's usually a nod. But you can make a motion, whatever Mr. Bout says.
Well, we can,
What's our motion? Approve them to buy Sun's tickets or?
I think
approve
the
their
motion
whole
is
thing?
just
I'm not sure what we're
to
doing.
approve a senior class trip
Trip.
Oh,
as,
Providing they stay within.
oh,
as scheduled within budget. I would
Yes.
keep it
all right.
generic.
I'll make that motion. What you said.
I'll second.
Okay, so any more questions on that? Like I say, just a motion. Yeah, we approve a senior class trip.
Yeah, I got a question. Who's the Suns?
The Phoenix
Phoenix
Suns
Suns
basketball team?
Basketball.
Oh, we're going to Minneapolis.
Yeah, how's
Yes.
that?
We're going
Yes.
to Minneapolis to see the Phoenix Sun?
Yes. On August 14th is the game. Sunday, August 14th.
Okay.
They're going to Arizona.
Yeah.
They actually tried that.
Staying within budget.
They actually did say Arizona. They came up with other ones, and I was like, no.
Okay. Okay. Any more discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. So a class trip is approved.
Thank you. I have nothing else other than data-wise also, just as Mr. Bout said, that's always on the ND Insights. So that's where Mr. Patterson and I pull all of our data for reporting. Other than that, that's all I have, unless if anyone has questions.
Seeing none? Thank you. Okay, does anybody need a break? Quick break?
Oh, sure. Great idea.
Get the bathroom, something quick? We'll take 5 minutes here, quick, guys. Stretch a little bit.
In November, they do it. We got registered by the 19th, but they do November 17th, they do a ceremony.
Yeah, they do a whole, because you can actually go on and watch the past
Here, bring the camera.
ceremonies where
Yeah,
Fall shots or?
they got kind of a panel and
Yeah.
Keeps up here in the back.
stuff, and keynote speaker.
yeah, they make
Start corn yet?
a deal out of it, which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody
Started
that,
on
I don't think I know anybody that's gone.
Monday. Started, so knocked off 130 acres by the yard, or east of the yard, so I could put the cows in. 20.
I know, I said it
24.
last time, that's why I let you have it this time.
Oh, it was.
No, I wasn't.
You're gonna run the dryer
I
anyway.
said
it's
it last
perfect.
time, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not as
It's what I
going as it will. I'll take my.
Go through the painful effort of
Right?
cranking up the dryer.
So then it didn't take, but it don't take long to dry when it's at that.
It's not too bad.
I don't know why.
When it gets wetter than that, then it gets.
No,
This
it
is,
looks
this zips right
nice,
through.
It looks. It is
And I always,
not.
I like to drive a little bit every year just to keep all the equipment working, because
There's a
pretty soon you don't, you skip a year, you skip 2 years.
Right.
And then the third year, you really need it.
Nothing will work right. Yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
about noon today, we moved north, and, it was coming off at 17. So,
Over the lines. Not very bad.
there wasn't much,
I see drop off started today.
I know.
and, Schmallenberger, Jason, I see his trucks.
Right.
I mean, I'm happy to take the praise, but.
Yeah, you can go to city, but else. I don't know of anybody else.
Brock was,
I don't know how you just.
he tried it yesterday and couldn't go. And today he hit her and, I don't know,
You're just like.
got everything by his place and then he had across the road.
Yeah, I don't know, I just,
Does it say on there?
It doesn't. It doesn't have a cost. I don't, I'm assuming they, it gives a hotel in there and assuming they do
it's just that I got, I had started on something because I got these stupid beef deals I gotta do yet, they're not ready. Yeah, we want to start knocking some.
Yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden it's
That's nice of
all
you.
Yeah, before there'd be a foot of snow on the ground.
Yeah, we got
Jesse,
11 pastures.
did you see those one
4 cows.
Yes.
So you go to each,
Straight.
Right away.
I can get it tomorrow.
Yeah,
We have 6,000.
Or actually next week, because I'm leaving early tomorrow for.
Well, at least you over half.
support
Yeah.
group in
What's that?
Bismarck.
Find a lot?
So I'm leaving at 3, so I won't.
Yes,
I
you
won't
have.
do
At least
it
you over half.
There-
We have-
because I knew we might need them, I left them in the inbox.
Okay.
Corn and
No, I didn't
sunflowers.
No.
So
I-
if someone needs them,
We work
we
for
can make
them.
I do
Yeah,
appreciate that.
We
but-
got
Should fund it.
Oh, but I had
You
7
still gotta
guys,
go round them up.
so we didn't
I
win
don't
out,
think
but
you need
we
to
did
do
well.
that,
I
'cause
think we
I
finished
haven't
with
seen it anywhere except that
22
drive.
presents,
Okay.
Yeah,
6
You
shark
can certainly
tails,
share
a
it
couple
with
of
everybody.
partridge.
I don't know,
You have a lot
I
of
don't know if
cartridge
Lindsay
out
was
there,
making
too? We
fun
have
of
those,
me,
too.
but when I pointed out.
Yeah,
the
they're
cartridge,
up
there.
I
Yeah.
don't know if
They're
you didn't
covered
notice it
big.
before.
They're up 200% this
that's what
year.
it was.
Last
She
year, and they were up
can't
last
unsee it
year.
now.
Yeah, she cannot see it now, yeah.
And I shot 2 coyotes
Yeah, they
when
just-
we were bird hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's so many dogs.
That is, they,
There's
nothing,
no
I'm like,
trapping
I
so
looked
much.
at it,
So I
like, can't
shoot,
even run it.
not working.
non-toxic,
we do it.
and we were walking the river, so then I just saw ducks if they come out. So there's some ducks in the river, and I went over, and I was waiting for them to get up, and pulled my gun up, and all of a sudden I see a coyote walking along the side of the bank.
Five,
like
six,
done on its
seven
own
shot
people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
Yeah,
and they
and
kind
the
of run
whole
into the
paper was
brush,
like, the headings
and then
were-
another one came out.
Did you not
Shot
look
that
at
one.
your?
Well, then the other,
it's
first
the
one starts
last meeting.
gimping up the hill, so I got that
Everything is
one.
wonky, and I'm like, I
Oh,
can't
she
write
got
out.
all
this
with 5
is
shots.
wonky. I couldn't do it.
We're moving thousands of tracks and they're.
And I walk in and I asked
Well,
this
I
person,
I
I'm
said,
like,
I know.
Yeah, coyotes take them out.
like,
Well,
is
just
your
trapping
copy
them.
Oh, at
straight?
night,
Like,
there's
it's
so
just
much. Well, it's 'cause they weren't
working
ripping
because
anything
I
last
can't-
year.
I can't use
They're
this.
my cat.
We had a
And
calf.
he's just like, oh, no,
We worked the other
I
day.
looked it up, and he's like, it's working on the. I
We
don't
don't,
do
we
it.
don't use cows.
Yeah.
500
I don't
pound
have
calf gone.
OCD though. I know
Did you
that
guys go out?
because I'm taking
Did
the
you
class
want
and I
to
don't
go?
have
Gonna
OCD.
Maybe go outside
I don't
and
have enough
cut them some out.
I had a cow do the same thing
It's
way
not
back,
OCD.
way back in when he said it. The only way I could get there was on my Ranger
It's not
tracks.
OCD though, because I was
Yeah, I
very
take
happy,
my
like, as
son
they're
Yeah, I
going,
haven't started corn. I haven't
Father-in-law,
the
we
symptoms.
drive back in there and, I mean, there was.
Almost OCD, yeah.
Yeah, he's out there with a 7.
Hi, babe.
I think it's all on this. I'll just wait a week.
That's what I-
Father-in-law's yelling
I
at him.
also
It was just fun to
was
watch.
waiting for the speaker in the classroom.
There's so many.
And then you got turkey buzzards.
Takes over.
We had 8 in the trees, right in the yard of the ranch.
I guess I got
Eight of them.
right now, but I end up stopping.
And they're getting, you know, they're protected and they're getting solar powered over it.
Yeah, 2 bald eagles. That's
I
right.
think hawks, you got a lot of hawks too. Oh, man, I've never seen this many hawks, but there's a lot more birds.
Yeah.
There's some kids that sit like
We
this
see
on their desk and they push it. And I'm
4
like,
bald
what
eagles
do you do?
yesterday.
Your feet
There
don't
was
go on
2
your
big
desk
ones
and
and
put
2
them
little
lower.
Really? Wow.
I went flying over the yard the other day, just really low down. Just beautiful.
I
Yeah,
bet.
We got one flying around down the dark
I was
place.
thinking, getting
Down
rid
by,
of all my
kind of when
desks.
you head towards
And then
Armstrong's
just
there.
doing flexible seating with
Armstrong's
footboard,
place
because
is
second
right
graders don't
down
wanna
there.
sit in chairs
Find
anymore.
the nesting.
We don't wanna sit in
It
chairs,
was
just give them
cool.
like a box to put
So
their
I'd
stuff
sit
in,
again.
throw the desks
You
out,
could see on,
and
it
then
was on
you
a
just
ridge.
sit
Look
wherever
at that
in the
bald eagle
classroom.
there. And they were just white.
It works for
white
some
eagles.
people.
Yeah.
I don't think. it
And all of a
works for second
sudden that
grade.
one lifted and then
Because
another one,
there's a
and then
class
2
of
more. I'm
kids
like,
that
oh.
Oh, what the hell?
And they can't, they have to, but
They're
I
huge.
thought about.
They
it.
don't realize how big they are.
They're
until-
sitting down. That's
They're big.
big bird. Beautiful.
Yeah. Alright.
Okay, well, let's get back at it, I guess.
So Jody, if I could, I was reading this here, there's a presentation and a kind of a whole ceremony that goes on with this blue ribbon. It is November 17th. Registration is due by October 19th. Well, if you've never been to DC, it's a bucket list thing. I'm gonna say we should have a discussion about funding a couple of representatives from the school to go, and maybe even voted on by the teachers of who those representatives should be. I mean, I guess I'd like my kids to be their teacher to have seen DC if they never have, so.
Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I'm a rare opportunity.
I agree. Quick turnaround, I mean,
Yeah.
to have somebody say yes and then plan it out, whatever.
Well,
You can see who's interested in going, available to go and what.
it's November 17th. It's a Friday. I don't know, you go down, what, 15, have a day to run the monuments and the mall and the Smithsonian and,
I think it's a good idea, except I think we could use it and give it to all the staff. You know, spread out somehow to give something to all the staff. You know, they're the ones that earned it. I mean, you select two and then the rest don't get it. So that's my thoughts. Because that's a good chunk of money to send two people out to Washington. I mean, even if it's just for overnight trip, your flight and
Well, I'm sure it'd be $2,000 a person, I suppose, by the
for
time.
flights, it'd probably be.
Hotel and flights.
Yeah.
You know,
that's my thought.
I don't really have much of an opinion on it, I guess, but it is due October 19th, you said.
Yeah, October 19th is registration, so.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Why not do a quick Google survey of the staff and teachers, given the option? Would you rather pick two representatives to go or have some kind of celebration as a school?
And we are planning a celebration.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I think you could get, there's like those banners and stuff like that. I mean, I think that would be something really, you know, put up. I mean, this is a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've gotten several in the mail for trying to sell us, so we buy stuff, so he's gotten a couple.
Yeah.
Too. So I think Jesse, I think you were looking at getting something like that, weren't you? Some kind of
Yeah, the
banner.
banners was the most reasonable thing.
Yeah.
Like practical thing that they've been sending us. I
Well, it was that and a sign too, or is that one or the other?
think it's kind of one and the same.
Did you get that one today? Where you can actually get like a 3D
I don't
emblem
think we've got that one
and you
yet.
can
Nothing in the
get,
mail.
Everything I got was like literally within a week of the announcement.
oh, well, I keep getting, but I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Motion to implement a survey for the staff to gauge interest in
Okay, yep, got a motion for
either,
a survey regarding, trip versus celebration.
okay.
I'll second.
Second on that?
I'm not opposed to looking into it and seeing what.
Okay. I mean, we'll have to act quick.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
the registration is, like 8 days away.
Week, right, yeah.
Any more discussion, guys, on that, or how we want that to look? And if,
Jesse does it?
how can we quickly respond to that survey if need be on, if they say, okay, yeah, we'll send two people, what's our budget?
We probably have to have
I guess we could do that after we just get them registered,
right.
go from there. I mean, you can register, what the heck. Is there a cost for registration?
No, I don't think the registration had a cost, and then they had.
There's
like,
no cost for registration, just all of your travel expenses.
They had like
Okay.
the guest at the hotel with a discount or
Yep.
whatever, but, I mean, I'm gonna tell
So
you.
there's time to sort that out if.
Well, and we're gonna have to dig into it too and see what, like, flights and all that's gonna cost, because if it's gonna be something that's astronomically high, that, because there's a bunch of people that are going there and flights are ridiculous, hotels are ridiculous. I mean, we're gonna have to have a budget in mind too.
Sure.
Yeah,
We're not gonna spend 20 grand sending two people to DC for a couple days either, you
Where
know?
you could do something useful.
Right.
Well, on that comment, I'll say this, when a teacher, if you've never been to DC and you're teaching things about our government and that, the value of going as a teacher to DC and seeing our federal government, and having that,
I mean, you're there.
even if you walk the Smithsonian or the mall for 8-10 hours, having that and being able to bring that to your classroom is of value. It's not something that's not of value, Mr. Zinn.
I think money spent in the school, there should be better.
okay, any more discussion? You guys wanna vote? More discussion on basically sending out a survey, asking teachers which way they would like to go. Okay. So on that motion, all in favor?
I
Okay, opposed, same sign? Okay, motion carries. We will do a survey. Okay, old business. Facilities update. That HVAC at our
All right. I have no new updates on the humidifier for here.
For here.
For TRE, we did meet with City Air Mechanical, Mr. Shutt, Mr. Hoff, Mr. Meyer. Met with them. Mr. Dudenheffer did get back to me. He has, Danny's looking into, well, I think that he doesn't think that there's enough power because there was an upgrade to the kitchen for outlets for freezers. So in order to put that unit in that we were talking about, we might have to bring more power to the building to do that.
Like we don't have enough main service?
Yeah.
Holy cats.
And he was checking in to that to make sure, but he hasn't gotten back to me.
Who was that? From Denny's?
Yeah, Dudenheffer was working with Denny's
from
Electric.
Gotcha.
But the plan was to take care of the heating and the air. Because right now the gym, the stage is heated by those units that are in there. And those units, not sure if we can get parts anymore.
1950s, at least, or original to the school.
Right. And, you know, I'm sure the dampers on there they're just set, aren't they? Didn't we have problems with the dampers?
They're pneumatic, pneumatic controls. They're old units. They do work, they make heat. They're just fan coil units, so they just a fan and a hot water coil. And they work to heat the gym. I mean, for heating, I think we're fine. But we were originally asking about just slipping an AC coil in those same units. And the guys from City Air are like, that's going to be a big pain and don't even know if it's possible. They said, let us look at the option of setting up, just buying a packaged unit, natural gas heat, AC, package unit, set it out north side of the gym, outside ductwork up the wall, and then penetrate the wall of the gym. And we were talking about two ducts.
Oh, it was a tube, wasn't it? Not ducts.
Maybe it was.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he was talking about the duct sock tubes. You know, but I also said we wouldn't mind looking at hard piping as well. But so that was the concept and just an idea to look at it, just to get a budget or a price on it. Did he ever come back with anything? Or?
Not yet, but he was getting concerned that we were probably going to be over the 150.
Ah, yeah.
Unless you're going to break apart mechanical, electrical.
Right.
I don't know. We'll just see what comes.
But we can still look at it and look at his estimates, and then we can still put together a request for proposal and a simple bid package and say, yeah, this is what we would like to do, and put it out for bids. And so that requirement is satisfied.
And then if we do go over that, then we also have to fill out the paperwork for DPI.
What do they ask for?
Well, you're supposed to ask for like approval but with this.
To go out for bids?
Well, to go ahead with the project.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize that.
I think it was 150. I'm pretty sure it is. But, you know, for a small project like that, they're not.
Sure.
And we already have a facility plan because we did that when we did this new school. So I basically just got to go in and update a few areas.
Oh, okay.
But resubmit it so it's there. And I'll do that for this last one. The one for Richardton that we just did.
Okay, so we got a little info there.
That's kind of where we're at. But as soon as I get any info, I'll let you know our numbers.
Okay. But for the gym here in Richardton, I think we said this last month, air conditioning up and running. Electrical is all pretty much done except for hooking up the humidifier.
Yep.
And actually putting it in. Okay.
Yeah, and it seems to be working excellent.
Thanks.
Any other questions on facilities or?
I just had one quick one. I went to a volleyball game the other night and, it's almost, these are all the lights that we have in here now. It's almost like it's getting darker in our gym. Do those bulbs,
Oh, yeah, these are just, what are they, T5 or T8 fluorescents?
T8s, I think they are.
T8,
Yeah.
I think we did.
Oh, yeah, they get dimmer
Yeah, it's almost.
over time.
I hadn't been in
So you
for
think
a
we
while.
need to replace some bulbs?
That's
Is
what I'm
everything-
wondering if we shouldn't. Before
I guess.
basketball starts.
Okay, on BG.
I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah.
it
bulbs
just seems
is
darker
easy.
in there, I don't know.
The next step will be LEDs for this gym too.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah, you go in the other gym and
Yeah,
it's bright
it's
over there.
nice.
A lot of comments from the other gym.
Yeah,
Good.
Very nice.
Yeah.
yeah. But bulbs are easy.
yeah,
It's just a
it's
matter of-
simple.
Get a bunch of bulbs and buzz around with the scissor lift. That's,
Yep.
Do they make LEDs that fit into those existing?
Yeah, that's another option. Basically, instead of buying regular bulbs, you'd spend a little more money for the LED slip in, but then you remove the ballast and wire direct. And then your fixture becomes an LED. And it's, that's probably not, I don't know if that's something BJ would want to do because you're cutting a ballast out and rewiring, but yeah, that's another option too. I mean, I've done that to many fixtures around our shop.
Does it add quite a bit more light?
Yeah, they're awesome. It becomes an LED.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't we look at
They
doing that?
become LEDs, I mean, it just, every fixture bulb is different, so, what's the cost of that bulb versus just,
Cause I know
Right,
these
Buying
are
and life
probably,
expectancy and everything else and
these
so
are
the
probably
bulb costs
6
more,
or,
but you're,
they're 6 or 7 years old probably. These lights.
yeah, if you got 6 years out of a fluorescent, that's, you're done.
Right, that's why, it's like,
Yeah.
it just seemed darker in there, but
Yeah, it certainly would be,
it's worth looking
I
into.
don't know if BJ'd be willing to look into it, but, what's the cost of that LED bulb that you slip in or the fluorescent, then you guys can make a decision, I mean, it's not. If we're just talking bulbs and simple maintenance like that.
Right,
at least look into it and see what.
yeah,
But, yeah.
Because cost around those LEDs is cheap.
Oh, yeah, then that gets cheaper and
Right.
they are brighter. They are.
and less electricity, yeah.
All right, any other questions, facilities? All right, 21, 22 update. Same as last.
Audit update, what, they're close, just,
They're close. There's 2 transactions, interfund transfers that they are just really struggling with because there was no documentation as to why they were done. I did some digging. I was able to find some documentation for one of the transactions. The other one, I mean, I just really couldn't find anything, so they're just still kind of just trying to.
but they're inner funds. or
They're interfunds, so yeah, it was
Okay.
just, they went from one fund to another fund, but there was nothing documenting
Okay,
like why she moved funds from one place to another.
it's not like money was going out.
No,
but it's just
no.
fund to fund. Okay. Do we have a deadline or is it passed? Or-
That I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
I have no
I don't
idea
know
either,
how that
what,
works.
maybe we should ask them, is there a deadline that this should be done by?
It's supposed to be done by year end. I mean, it is for our use. I mean, our audit update is for our use.
Yeah,
It's for us to
But what's-
make sure things are being done correctly and for their
Right.
budget, but yeah, there's no actual.
There is no, state law that
No.
says you
That's
need an
right.
audit or by a certain
You
time
can
every year,
do-
or,
You have to do an audit at least minimum of every 2 years, but
okay,
you've chosen to do it every year.
we choose, okay. Okay, so it's our own. Okay, well, that's good, I guess, really.
Who's doing our audit?
Hager.
Any other questions on the audit? CREA payroll services. That's who's been doing payroll. December is the last month. The district will be assuming payroll responsibilities January 1st. CREA will finish up the 23 tax season. So there will be some work they'll be doing in January to finish up the 23 tax season. So
Then it comes, January 1st comes in-house.
then
You ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. That was, I guess, our intention all along, but that's great. Okay, personnel.
If you click on there, there's your options for North Dakota School Board. Superintendent search.
Which one had we done in the past? For options?
Good question.
We did option 2,
Option 2. And what was the cost?
$4,500.
And we pay half
You pay half up front and then half once you
successfully find
successfully
someone.
find someone.
Okay.
So Alexis had a time frame when she thought we should start, or
She said whenever you guys wanted to start.
doesn't hurt to go out now and start now and
So option 1 is doing it yourself? Is that what I'm
Yep.
seeing? Okay. Okay. And option 3 is,
They pretty much do everything.
they do, oh, that's what, that was the, like a $10,000 one or something, wasn't it?
It was 65, so it's 45 or 65.
Oh, okay.
I like how we've done it in the past.
well, yeah,
I think
I would
Rachel's
say
done a
we
good
want
job.
to, I would think we want to have them done and report back to us by the end of February.
Oh, yeah.
So
No
basically,
later.
get it posted here by November 1st or something?
First.
So we're interviewing sometime in like middle of February.
Sometime. Makes sense.
So my question is, if we do that, will somebody be, is somebody that's interested, are they usually willing to interview that early before the school year's up?
I would think they're more willing then than waiting longer.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that- Because, I mean, we had one guy that was interested, but he wasn't gonna leave his school.
Right.
You know, so I would think the earlier the better.
Right, okay.
I would ask Alexis, I mean, she would be.
Maybe we should ask her on timing because, you know, basically you have to renew a contract at a certain point.
I think when she talked to us, she did talk to, you know, she was saying November.
Right,
Start getting all your stuff together.
right.
What do you exactly want in November?
It'd be
There's
nice
no
to do
reason
our
not to
interview
start
in
it now.
February.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no reason not to start doing it now.
Yep.
yeah. November's not that far away.
No, it's not. There's February.
No.
So do we need to make a motion on which
Yeah, you'll. need to-
option we want to do and then when we want to
I
start?
would like to know the costs of the different options.
4,500 for number 2 and 65 for number 3.
Where does it say that?
She just said that a minute ago.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, it doesn't say on here.
Oh, it's not, it wasn't in a separate email. Okay.
No, she just said it.
Yeah.
Out loud.
So it was
2 is what we've done.
2,000 more for the number 3?
don't know, are you really getting much
No,
more
that's
for
what
the?
Rachel told us that she said you
Yeah.
don't really get much more for
Right,
this.
that's what I was looking at. I looked at it earlier today and I just
Or
didn't really
Alexis.
see
In a
a bigger
brochure.
benefit.
It's highlighted on here. It says assist the board in identifying the skills, qualities, and characteristics of the individual must possess to be a successful superintendent in the district. It says visit with administrators, classified staff, teachers, students, and community members about the school district community and what they are looking for the new superintendent, and create a brochure highlighting the school district and community. Well, I would say for $2,500, it's probably worth it, especially the couple of items there. Finding the time to visit with administration, staff, teachers, students, community members.
But is that gonna get you more applicants, I guess, is the way I look at it.
No,
I don't see that.
We're also hiring for a full process here, not just to find applicants.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is doing those three things gonna get us more applicants or more qualified applicants?
I don't know, but I like them in terms of what they do for the process. I can't answer that question from, I don't think anybody could if it gets us more.
When I was looking at it earlier, I guess I didn't, and now knowing the price difference, I don't see it being worth the price difference. I don't really, because to me, you're still getting the same applications you're getting with option 2 as you are with option 3. I could see how option 3 would be a bigger benefit in a big district, but for ours, I just don't see that being worth it myself.
Yeah, fair enough. I do.
You're gonna go through the same process.
And that's fair, yeah, I mean, absolutely.
I'll make a motion for option 2.
Okay, we got a motion to go with option 2. We have a second on that.
I'd second that.
Motion and a second for option 2. No more discussion on that, guys? Option 2 versus option 3. I kind of see us going through the same process either way. Use your list of qualified, we pick, and we interview, unless we want to do something.
Yeah, I mean, it specifically says what's different. It's visit with administrators, classified staff, teachers, students, community members about the school district community and what they are looking for. So just to say that I don't see that being the same when that piece is completely highlighted as missing for option 2. Option 2 becomes very just administrative. Timeline, list of questions, here's your interview questions, manage the applications, discuss the interview procedure. If anything, I'll say that I don't see much value in option 2 versus just doing it ourselves.
I think the value in option 2 is they get out there and advertise for us, and then they pre-screen them. And then they help us with the process. And I mean, so they're involved.
Background checks on them.
Yeah, she's involved with us. I certainly, I don't want to do it ourselves. I don't want to leave us to not have some kind of help with this. So.
I think that then just go with option 2, and then we can have a couple of staff members at the interview so they're aware of who are and what's going on. And,
well, they're open interviews anyway, anybody.
Exactly right. But I mean, they can be a part of it. I mean, as actually.
Right.
Don't see that they do a pre-screening in option 2.
They did last time.
Yeah, she did.
They assist in reviewing candidate applications. I don't know if that is part of that. Conduct reference checks, okay? If that's what you mean by pre-screening.
Did we last time have a committee that kind of set things up too? I know we interviewed as a full board. We interview every candidate as a full board. So it's, so it's a board meeting, it's open and all that. But did we have a committee that did anything ahead of time or? Oh, okay.
Superintendent, you want the full board involved in from the top down, right?
For everything? Okay. Okay, so, yeah, so even full board meetings on, we look at applicants together, we look, okay, that's definitely good with that. Okay, any more discussion on the motion? We have a motion to go with option 2. Any more discussion? option 2 for $4,500. Okay, so if there's no more discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, one opposed. Motion carries. Okay, Amber, do you need any more direction from us right now? Other than let's hire School Boards Association and say, yeah, we want to get this posted early November? Okay. Okay, new business, policy. No, just superintendent evaluation?
Yep, due next month, November 19th.
Oh. Mr. Bunce, do you have a format that you want to use, or? We've used several in the past. I don't know if I love any of them, but.
We haven't used Survey Monkey for a while.
Whatever you just use, the school board or associations or whatever you used last year.
The last one we did, Kelly Peters had done, he had the forms and he emailed them to us, and it was a Word document, so you had to go through and write it all out and circle them. But prior to that, we had done the survey, the Survey Monkey thing where you could just start clicking through stuff, and then there was always a box for comment at the end.
That was that Rocky Mountain.
Yep.
Do they still have?
There's a cost to that one, right? The Rocky Mountain one, there's a cost?
Yeah, there was a cost.
Anybody know what that was, or?
I don't remember.
Much it costs? I think that's why Kelly Peters went to the, here's a Word document, email it to us, because that essentially was free. But
It was always a hassle getting it back to them too, because you'd have to.
Print it off.
Yeah, it was.
Either you print it and you write and you scan it back in, or you went into Word and I figured out how to do it on the computer, but.
My wife had to show me how to do it.
What's that?
My wife had to show me how to do it on the computer. I was so lost. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
But, I mean, the online surveys are pretty straightforward too.
We can look in. We'll look into it and see what we can.
Okay. So, yeah, sometime before, let's see.
Yeah, actually, I had a board meeting before that.
Send that out a week ahead of the board meeting?
Before that, actually.
We do?
Yes, we do. Next board meetings.
Yeah, but isn't that the board meeting where we have to do it, or is it the one following?
November 8th is our board meetings.
And then the 19th is due.
And it's due on the 19th?
According to law, it's due on the 19th.
Okay.
So we'd have to do it on the 8th then.
Right, otherwise you'd have to have a
Special meeting.
Otherwise, you gotta have a special board meeting, so.
right.
So we need to send the survey out before the November 8th board meeting?
We can get that done.
Okay, that's all, I'm fine with that, I guess, unless somebody has a specific format you'd like to see. Doesn't matter to me, just so we can get something in writing. Okay, we got a Harlow's contract for bus drivers. Is that our activity bus driver?
Yes. Well, it could be for a route driver too if we ran into problems, but it's basically, for activities. And as you can see, it's not very cheap.
Is it as needed?
As needed. So for example, on Monday, the girls went to Hazen, and that was the one day out of this whole month that I didn't. I mean, there was 3 that we had, but we finagled stuff around where we took 2 small buses one time, just whatever we could do. But yeah, this is the last resort, because it's not.
So this is a Harlow's driver jumping in our activity bus and driving it for us.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Yeah, so essentially $62 an hour with a 3-hour minimum. Yeah, I mean, it's, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. A lot of people.
$30 an hour. Downtime.
Downtime. Weren't you talking about getting your license?
Yeah, in my spare
Bus
time.
license.
My spare time.
I don't know, according to Ralph, his paycheck doesn't calculate as well as these numbers.
I bet it
No,
does.
we don't pay, right. So we pay probably 25 an hour for our bus drivers for Big Blue? Or is it more?
20,
It starts at 25.
yeah.
So, I mean, I guess if they've been driving for 20 years, they're probably making a little bit more than 25.
You know, also say our guys are even $30 an hour, so that's the same as their downtime. They're just charging a 2 times rate basically on driving time.
So the windshield time is 62.
How much
Yep.
notice do they need?
Windshield time 62. Downtime is 30.
It's
If you get to most places
the
in
more
what,
notice you can give them,
hour
a
and a
better
half?
chance of getting a
so
driver.
3 hours.
We're not
So there's your
guaranteed
3-hour
a driver.
minimum.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more.
And, you know, another example would be on that Monday, when the girls were going to Hazen, we had, another one was the junior high girls going to Hebron. Well, I can't see paying that amount of money to travel to Hebron.
Right.
So, you know, we're trying, if it's a distance and further away and they can drive the coach, then that's what we do.
So what's the rule on driving those small buses? Like, cause I know they took 2 to Hebron.
Right.
So what's the,
You need to, you don't have to have the passenger endorsement or any of that. You just have to have a regular driver's license, attend the workshop, and then all the other requirements that the other bus drivers have.
so you still gotta go get your CDL?
No,
No,
you don't have to.
it's
do
everything
that.
except the CDL. So it's a physical,
Physical.
commercial driver
physical.
physical.
Is that the DOT physical?
But yeah,
What's
DOT,
that?
The
yeah,
DOT physical?
Yeah, basically.
yeah, DOT physical. Pretty simple. So basic physical workshop and
And that's-
regular license.
Right.
And you're good to go. Well, that is certainly much easier. Maybe we should look into another small bus. Maybe that should be the next bus we buy.
What is that? Is it 13?
13 passenger.
13 passenger?
14.
14?
Anyway, we need a motion on this contract, right? Just approving this
Yes.
contract. Anybody want to make that?
I'll move to accept the Harlow's contract.
Okay, we got a motion on the contract. Second,
Second.
moved and seconded. Any more discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, contract approved. See, we got a new facility update. We got, security cameras.
Yeah, was asked about adding some cameras, in Richardton, 4 cameras, kitchen, vault, fire room, and the staff office work area. And then 2 cameras at TRE, the bathroom upstairs, they can't see who is going in and out of the bathroom, so they want one, right? Right, so they can see actually who is going in. And then one in the vault over there as well. The reason why there's 11 cameras on there is because 5 of the cameras were consolidated cameras that were installed last year, but the rest of the cameras, or maybe not last year, but the year before. And I don't know why it was consolidated, but the rest of the cameras are all the Denny's Electric. So in order to upgrade those cameras over there, we have to upgrade the NVR.
Oh. And cameras, or?
Yeah, so in order for that new NVR to work, it would work best if they were all the same cameras. And he gave us a discount on those outdoor bullet cameras. That's where the discount is. There's 5 of them. And if you go down, you can see the discount on the bullet cameras. And then he gave us a discount on the NVR. And then we would take that NVR from over there, move it over here, because we're maxed out over here, but then that would give us enough to add those formal cameras on there.
I assume Adam said yeah.
This is Adam. Adam and I have gone over this and he's explained it to me 3 times already, so
Okay.
I think I got it right this time.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, we gotta have them.
Yeah. We need to accept the bid for cameras.
Okay, we got a motion on the camera bid in a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion on that? I think it's a good idea. So, okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
If you could, Mr. Bouts, just get an estimated completion date for us. Seems like sometimes we're dragging on some of these things if we don't add that to the.
Yeah, we'll get it to Denny's.
When you ink it, yeah.
Okay. All right, RACTC report.
Now, we had a Zoom meeting last week, Wednesday. One thing on the agenda, when we joined the group. They were out for a while, but anyhow, they joined the group, and then consolidation is still being explored. So, all we have.
All we got. Okay, was there an RESP meeting or anything like that?
Not that I knew. I don't know, I signed up on their website, what is it?
So they changed the way the RESP is governed. It's now in like units. So they take an administrator and a board member from each unit. So I don't remember who's in our, but somebody from Glen Ellen or somebody from is in there. But we still get all the meeting notices and stuff.
Yeah, you
Get all the
those?
information.
Yeah, I'm on an email list every once in a while, I get some stuff, and I haven't seen them asking
Did you
for any
get
meetings or
anything
anything.
for Teams?
No, I did not. So
I
they have a
haven't seen
Teams link
anything.
that they're putting stuff on or
Well,
something
that's
maybe?
usually what they do,
Oh, okay,
but that would be a Mr. Mattson question.
okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah, if there's anything you can shoot to Damien on that, yeah.
Did Mr. Mattson call you?
No, not a phone call. I just went on my own and signed up on the stuff.
Because I had talked to him about calling
Okay,
and explaining to you the whole RESP.
sure, appreciate it,
And I can do that again. I'll remind you.
thanks.
So, okay, very good. All right, next meeting is November 8th at 6 PM.
Gotta be downtown.
Nope. You. Got put some more bins out here.
Okay, well, I guess the meeting is adjourned. Hey, we beat the 10 o'clock.
Really?
Yes.
deal.